Hey guys, how's it going? KRIPP'S here. Today I want to give you guys a Diablo 4 build guide on Companion Druid. Now, the Companion Druid that you are looking at here is from the PTR, and you can see that I'm doing a pit level 62, which doesn't seem very impressive. I do want you guys to keep in mind that this character, I just slapped on some of the runes on the character I leveled from level 1, so the gear is actually really bad here, and the damage is like pretty respectable. And I played with, I tried full on Creeper, I tried full on Ravens, and ultimately through my tests, well, it is going to be wolves. That's right. They did give Ravens a new aspect. They did just buff the damage across the board so you can play like Creeper a little bit more viably. But ultimately, it is going to be wolves if you want to play Companion Druid. I did play a lot of it. Like I mentioned, I leveled it from level 1. I played a little bit on the private test realm that Blizzard was nice enough to include me in. So I do have some experience with this class after the PTR, and I can give you guys some advice. Why do you want to play a Companion Druid in Season 6? Well, honestly, it is going to be the best minion build in the game. While Necro minions are going to be the go-to leveling build for Necromancers, the endgame situation is that the Wolf Companion Druid is probably going to outdamage the Necromancer build by a factor of about 3 or 5 times. So it's going to be way better in terms of actually, dealing damage. And it's also more tanky. There's one thing it is not good at, and it is weak area damage. This is not fixed in Season 6. There are no new mechanics that help with that in Season 6, so unfortunately, it is a build that is pretty slow to clear, and clearing is pretty important to level your paragons. So if you really want to play minions, go for it. But I would mostly recommend this build only if you're playing with someone that has good clear speed and actually doesn't have good single target damage, because this build actually has pretty good single target damage. So if you're playing with your friend who's playing like a Sork and you play with him most of the time you're playing Diablo, this is actually a good choice for a build. And it is going to be, once again, probably the best minion build in the game until minions get some love. Please, Blizzard, we need some love. All right. If you guys do want the written guide, make sure to check it out on Mobalytics. It is home of the KRIPP'S builds. If you want this build specifically, it is going to be in the description below. Make sure to check it out. All right, so why is this build much better than Necro Minions? So first off, it was just better than Necro Minions to begin with, and we got a few very cool tools here, largely one with nature. Your companion skills each gain 1 additional companion and deal 50% multiplier damage. Now, before we use the Bestial Rampage, which has been savagely nerfed. It is complete garbage tier. You don't really have any other option. If you want to play companions, you play this. Overall, the damage is, I would say, similar. I also want to point out that on the private test realm after the PTR, this went from times 50 to times 60% damage. So it is a little bit more damage. But the +1 companion helps a little bit with clear because you just have more things dealing damage. But the one thing it really does very well, that second part, gain the passive effect of Ravens, Wolves, and Poison Creeper. So if you look at this build, so we have Ravens because we want 2 extra Ravens, and we get crit if something is hit by Ravens. But if you look at the skills, we only have Wolves. But we're using Shepherd's aspect. So companion skills deal 13% damage per companion that you have. Well, why do we not have them on the bar? We don't have them on the bar because this second line here, gain the passive effect of Ravens, Wolves, and Poison Creeper. That means the summon part. Okay, so the passive is the Ravens are flying around you and periodically hit enemies. That's the passive part. So we spec Ravens fully, we don't put it on our bar, and we are actually getting those Ravens around our character passively. And with Poison Creeper, we don't even spec Poison Creeper because you don't need to. You get the passive effect of Poison Creeper even if you don't have points in the skill itself. So that ultimate is actually deceptively powerful, as a matter of fact. There are a few other changes, and while we generally are shapeshifted, we have Debilitating Roar and Blood Howl and Claw and Lacerate, and we do all that kind of stuff. We're almost always in Wolf and Companion. I'm sure some people are going to have some questions for this. So where is it here? Yeah, so you deal X 15% multiplier while in human. Why do I have this? The answer is when you use the wolf button, it transforms you into a human while you use the wolf button. So while the passive damage of the wolves won't have the 15 damage multiplier from humanity, the active damage of the wolves will. Okay, so that is a pretty important fact. And we generally want the quick shift to stay up. So we get more damage from quick shift than we do with human. This bonus is lost after 3 seconds in human, which means after you use the wolf button, go back and not be a human. You're going to see a lot of builds with Cataclysm. Cataclysm is a pretty good choice, I agree. But I think I like Lacerate more because it becomes an invincibility cooldown. It becomes a crowd control break. And it is actually giving you a 40x multiplier. If you use Cataclysm, it gives you nothing. If you use Mjolnir Ring, it doubles your damage. But you get 40 from this. You can just use any other aspect. And in fact, the aspect that we do use is for Stone Burst. Stone Burst has a pretty powerful aspect that gives you damage multiplier. The other thing that Stone Burst does really nicely is when channeling Stone Burst and for 2 seconds after, you get 30% attack speed. 30% attack speed? That's a lot of attack speed. There is also a secret tech here, Werewolf attack speed. So you might think, wait a second, werewolf attack speed? Oh my god, the wolves are werewolves aspect of the alpha. No, they didn't fix that yet. Nope. They are tagged werewolf, but the wolves themselves do not get any benefit from werewolves or from storm skills, even though they're tagged storm and werewolf. Why do we get werewolf? Because we're generally using werewolf skills to reset the cooldown of the wolf skill. And the pressing of the wolf button cast time of the player is based on your werewolf skill attack speed. And the werewolf skill attack speed temper is category 2 attack speed. So what we're trying to do is get an absurd amount of attack speed. We want 200% total attack speed. And Claw, with its attack speed upgrade, 20% attack speed, this is a multiplier. So this actually allows us to get 50% base lucky hit is a crazy high number, and it allows us to have over 300% of normal attack speed with this multiplier as well. So it's attacking crazy fast, and we have no cooldown reduction. We're just resetting it with Pack Leader. So critical strikes have up to 25% chance to reset the cooldowns of your companion skills. That's based on the lucky hit of the skill. Claw's lucky hit is ridiculously high. Our attack speed is ridiculously high. And mechanically speaking, the lucky hit chance for Pack Leader Spirit Boon, this actually multiplies the chance itself. So this 25% can go to like 50. And the Air of Perdition, which is the new crazy helmet for basically every class, but particularly this build, it actually has a pretty large lucky hit value on the item itself. It's a 60 multi on a helmet. We're playing a tanky class, so we can afford to go full damage on an armor piece. And this build traditionally had major issues with crit chance, because you really want to use a two-hander. It's really hard to cap crit chance, and crit chance is abnormally good because we have Envenom. Envenom makes our crits even higher damage. Also, Debilitating Roar, the reason we have it is so we get the bear aspect of heightened senses. Without it, we have no way to activate bear. We also have bonuses for activating defensive skills, so it's pretty important to help with that. And the new debilitating roar gives you a 15% damage multiplier for its duration. It's a pretty low duration, but it helps if you want to just burst down a boss, potentially. Quick overview of aspects. So we do have the Stone Burst one, 50 damage multi. It's not crazy, but it helps. We're generally making things vulnerable from the lucky hit on a ring, but we have really high lucky hit. And the Shepherd is insane. We have more companion count because of the new ultimate. We're using Stampede for more of them. We're using Moon Rage, so kills have a 5% chance to summon a wolf companion to your side for 25 to 35 seconds, and this effect is a lucky hit against bosses, 3 additional wolves. So this is a lot of extra damage because each of those wolves are using the wolf button when you press it. Each of those wolves are contributing a lot to the passive damage. Now 5% lucky hit. If you don't run this setup and you're playing like cooldown reduction based wolves, this is just not going to work. 5% lucky hit is really, really low. You have to play a lucky hit stacking build to realistically have these extra wolves up on bosses. This is the only way to play this build. I've seen lots of people play companion druids on the PTR, and honestly, not all of them. I've actually seen a few good ones, but I would say 90% of the companion druids I've seen are not playing it correctly. They're playing a very crappy version of the build, and I've seen some of those crappy versions go to like pit 95. So I don't think this will hit pit 100 because we have like an 80% damage nerf from the PTR. But yeah, maybe you can do like 90, maybe you can do 95 with this optimized version. I think 100 is still a little bit out of reach for minions. One thing with the Shepherd's aspect, so we have lots more companions now. It's actually better than the alpha. We have the Moon Rage, lots more extra companions. And if we look at the runes, so yeah, we have the Warcry, sure. But we also have Spirit Wolves. Spirit Wolves, wait a second. Are Spirit Wolves companions? They are. I have tested this. Spirit Wolves are actually companions. They will give you further damage multipliers from Shepherd's aspect. This is important because while on the PTR everyone used Petrified Glyph on everything else, Petrify's crit damage bonus did not work on minions. Now the Petrified damage bonus is gone from the glyph. You only get the stuns from the rune, that is. So other than Warcry, there is no damage multiplier that the other classes are getting, but Companion Druid, we do get the damage multiplier from the companions because we use the Shepherd's aspect on a two-hander. So that's pretty cool. Also, a really big part of Druid is that leveling a Druid at low level is really crappy, but I can say having it done twice now in the new difficulty tiers, this is a good build to start from level 1, so even if you want to play a different type of Druid at high level, I do encourage you guys to check out this guide so you can get your crash course on how to play Companion Druid, because even if you're not playing Companions later, you're probably going to play Companions as you go through the new campaign and the early stages of your Druid's life. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide. If you want the written version, again, it's on Mobalytics in the link below, and we'll see you next time.